Thank you. I'm honored to be sharing the stage with such amazing speakers and performers today. I'm here to talk to you about connection, but first I want to tell you a quick story. In 1997, a catastrophic flood hit Fort Collins and Colorado State University. After the flood, a number of buildings on the university campus were closed for renovation and restoration. The professors who had offices in those buildings were reassigned across campus wherever there was office space. A little while later, we saw a spike in patent applications coming out of the university, which many ascribe to this time when professors from different departments were spending time together every day. I'd like you to think about a time when you were in a group with people who had different expertise, different backgrounds. Hopefully it wasn't caused by a natural disaster, but something nicer, like a meeting, a dinner. Maybe it was a person who brought all of those people with different backgrounds together. Let's talk a little bit about people as connectors. We tend to group people into experts and generalists. How many of you would identify as an expert? All right, a few folks. How many of you identify as a generalist? These are people who have lots of different interests, connectors of ideas. All right, wonderful. So while there are entire books devoted to the power of these two different groups, we know we need both, right? We know that we need experts. Nobody wants to hear, yeah, I generally know how to do this surgery. Or, yeah, I generally know how to design a bridge. No thanks. We know we also need generalists, of course, people who are really good at taking ideas and connecting them together and making them stronger. So we've talked a little bit about events or circumstances as connectors and people as connectors. And I think a lot about place as a connector. My background is in ecology, environmental studies, and urban planning, and these are all fields that are about connection and systems, but also about place. So my interest is maybe not surprising. What I'd like to also say is that I believe strongly in the power of connection in creating circumstances and places where the knowledge and capacity of all you experts can be brought together, and where the generalists among us can match problems with problem solvers, and then get out of the way or bring in a new idea or a person at the right time. I am also convinced that connecting people of different backgrounds, expertise, disciplines, lived experience is one way to solve problems. And that could be small problems or big global problems. Now, what am I talking about there? So let me tee up a few of these for you. We are on track to have a global population of 9.7 billion people by 2050. And we know we need food, water, shelter for this growing global community. Let's look at food first. It is estimated that we need to grow twice the food to feed this global population of 10 billion people, and that's partly due to population growth, but also due to changes in diet preference. So, for example, demand for meat has tripled, and demand for eggs has gone up by 7 times in recent years in developing countries. And we know we need to grow twice the food at a time when our climate is getting generally hotter and more variable, which makes growing food, which is already a risky and difficult business, riskier and harder. On the waterfront, we know that freshwater demand will increase by 55% in coming years. And where that freshwater is also changing. This map shows you blue areas where there is more freshwater than there has been, and red areas where there's less. You'll notice that there aren't that many places where it has stayed the same. We have also seen this here in the US, with some places suddenly having way too much fresh water, Iowa in recent years as an example, and other areas struggling through years of drought, like us in the American West. These images don't really do the challenge justice. Lake Mead is at 29% of its capacity, and with just 2 more years of drought, it will be at dead pool, meaning that the water levels will be too low to go through the Hoover Dam downstream and to generate electricity. Lake Powell is at 23% of its capacity, which is the lowest in its history. So to talk a little bit about health as well, there are many factors, of course, that we should care about, but I'll touch on 2. One is air quality. 94% of the world's population is believed to breathe air that is unsafe, according to the World Health Organization. And 1/3 of the global population suffers from some kind of malnutrition, according to the World Food Program. So these are all serious problems, and of course we have been working on them, of course we have. A lot of energy and effort has been devoted to technology and innovation as a way to solve these global problems. So we have robots in our farm fields. We have other robots in our pipes looking for leaks. We have temperature sensors for our livestock to monitor their health remotely. And many of you probably have something similar on your wrist right now monitoring your health. And these innovations are incredibly important. We've also had advancements in policy, law, communications, writing, all of which help us to solve these problems and also to communicate and inspire around them. So that's all good news. We're working on these problems. What's not great news is that at a time when we need more people working in fields that could be most helpful in solving these problems, as a society, we're drifting away from them. For example, globally, the number of people working in agriculture has dropped from 44% to 26%. Here in the United States, we've gone from 8% working on farm in agriculture, which is already low, to 1.6%. On the waterfront, about 1/3 of our water and wastewater operators are eligible to retire in the next 10 years, and we don't have a pipeline of new workers coming up behind them. On the health front, doctors and nurses themselves are concerned about a healthcare worker shortage. 31% of healthcare workers around the world and 47% here in the US have indicated in surveys that they're thinking about leaving their positions in the next 2 or 3 years. So maybe they won't, but if they do, that's almost half of our healthcare workforce. So these are real challenges. We know we need more people in these spaces, and we also know we need more diverse people in these spaces. Study after study has shown us that diverse groups are more creative, generate more solutions to problems, and are more accountable. And because we know these problems will take some time to solve, we need young people interested in these careers and disciplines. And how are we doing there? So on the health side, okay, about 19% of recent college graduates have degrees that prepare them for a healthcare-related field. But it's only 6% in engineering and 2% in ag and natural resources. And when you look at students of color, these percentages are even lower. Now, I know that this isn't maybe representative of the entire population, but it is a snapshot of what our young people are interested in. So I've thrown a lot at you here. We have a growing population, not enough resources to feed it. People are moving out of the careers that could be most helpful, and we don't have young people moving into them in the first place. It's not puppies and sunshine. But I believe that connection can help. I believe we can put experts together to research technical solutions, but also policy, law, social change. I believe we can bring together people into a space where the experiences they have, the people they're with, and the place they are in every day helps to catalyze connection. And that one of those connections is to reach back to young people and say, we need you, and we'll show you the way. This is just starting to happen at CSU Spur. Spur is a satellite campus of the Colorado State University System. It's part of a larger redevelopment in North Denver. It is made up of 3 buildings that are focused on theme to bring different disciplines together. We have a building focused on health, Vita, a building focused on food and agriculture called Terra, and a building focused on water called Hydro. And these buildings are heated and cooled with a low carbon energy source. They have state-of-the-art water conservation technologies, and they're designed for the health of the people who work in and visit them. So these buildings are remarkable, but what happens inside of them is so much more important. We are coming at these big global challenges from a variety of directions: research, innovation, and education primarily. So let me tell you a little bit about the research. We have faculty who are looking at new water quality techniques. We have faculty looking at new facets of animal and human health through things like equine sports medicine. That is a horse on an underwater treadmill. I know you were wondering. And things like equine-assisted therapy. We are also looking at how to grow food with fewer resources in our rooftop greenhouse. So what's special about our research at Spur is that we take what happened in 1997 with the flood and we're recreating it. So we have faculty from different disciplines working together. We have a green roof expert working with a water quality expert to research growing food on a roof under solar panels with treated stormwater from the street. So this is an opportunity to generate energy, grow food, and conserve water, all on the roof of a building. On the innovation side, we have a group of students, faculty, entrepreneurs, researchers who are ready to take questions from corporate and industry partners and say, we have an answer for you, or we're gonna work together on it. This could include things like developing new food products that maybe have nutritional value to help us solve that nutrition problem I mentioned. But what's really special about CSU Spur is that we take the research and the innovation that might have happened behind closed doors in other places, and we put it on display for visitors, particularly young people. That means that our veterinarians do surgeries and procedures with a group of visitors behind a glass wall. Not only are these vets providing care, but they're also fielding questions from third graders. I challenge you to think about your workday and whether or not you could handle doing your job while fielding questions from third graders every day. These vets are amazing. In our kitchen, kids can explore careers in food science, nutrition, think about building their own food business, or upstairs they can connect with our green roof researchers, our greenhouse operators, and our soil scientists. In our water building, they can explore how water shapes the land through our stream table and connect with careers through our partnership with Denver Water. And there is art throughout. This is a particularly good example of connection of art and science. Those circles, the lights move and change colors depending on weather data. We also have an exhibit where a musician has taken data from rivers and turned it into music, so you can literally listen to the song of a river. And we're partnering with organizations to provide music, theater, and dance experiences at Spur. We are focusing so much of our energy on young people because we know they are eager for fun, hands-on experiences, but also because we know they start to think, this career is for me, this career is not for me. College is for me, college is not for me by the time they're in about the 6th grade. By pairing experiences for young people with being able to see scientists, professionals, and artists at work, we keep their minds and their options open. Through partnerships with local schools in particular, like this one in our surrounding neighborhoods, we've had over 4,000 students come through Spur in the roughly year we've been open. And we're working on virtual experiences, thank you. We're working on virtual experiences for those who can't come to us. We do not know of any other place that creates this kind of connection between the public and students and scientists and professionals at work. This is where we are bringing the next generation along, expanding their options and showing them their potential. So we know there is no one simple solution to global problems like the ones I mentioned. Spur is here to provide instead a place for 1,000 solutions to come together, to bump up against each other, get better, and be amplified. We are also here to say to the next generation, you have a role to play in solving these problems, whether you're a specialist, mathematician, scientist, musician, or a generalist facilitator and connector. This is part of what I love about what I do at CSU Spur. It's a chance for the generalist in me to take all my energy and point it at all the problems at once by creating the circumstances and spaces for all of you experts and fellow generalists to shine at what you do. So I've told you about a place and a group that is working to bring together and to provide connection. I've told you about inspiring the next generation, particularly in a place like CSU Spur. So I know most of you can't build a campus or even a building, or maybe you can't even come to visit our campus, although I encourage you to do so. So why am I telling you all this? It's because we are doing this connection work at Spur in one way, and there are many ways. There are a lot of things that we are doing at Spur, but a lot that we can't and that you can. Everyone here can create the circumstances and the spaces that foster connection. Everyone here can diversify the groups that you're in and think about how to take your work and make it more transparent, not only to bring in new ideas, but also to inspire the next generation. We can solve big problems through connection with each other, and through connecting with the next generation to show them their potential to create a 2050 where we all thrive. Thank you.